So, it's pretty clear that Marvel are currently the, like, ring bearers of the cinematic universe. I mean, Fox, Sony, and DC, terrible. Not in that retrospect, but I'll elaborate. So here's 5 things that Marvel do better than DC, Fox, and Sony. Number 1, they actually have a variety of characters. Here's the problem with what Fox do. They try to make all of their characters Wolverine. They base every movie off of Wolverine. Here's what DC do. They try to make all of their characters Batman. They try to make every movie about Batman. Here's what Sony do. Absolutely fucking nothing. Marvel, they have a very big variety of characters. They do their own solo films, they do sequels, they do the Avengers, they do Guardians of the Galaxy. They have a lot of variety. They don't try to make the same things, because then you can definitely, tell the difference between each one. So that's the first thing. Number 2, Marvel have produced 2 films every year since like 2002, no, since like 2009, and yeah, DC haven't posted one in 3 years. Fox are posting like one every year, but they're not the greatest. And Sony, I don't even know where the fuck Sony are right now, honestly. They only have Spider-Man, so yeah, that's pretty much it for Sony. But see, what happens here is you sort of lose out. See, people don't understand that Warner Brothers don't just distribute DC, they have loads of other things that are making money. What Marvel do is they just make Marvel films. What Fox do, they make other films. Sony make other films. But in order of, like, comic book movies, DC haven't made one in 3 years. Sony haven't made one in a year and probably aren't going to make one until, like, 2017. And Fox are posting one every year, but Marvel is still crowned king with 2 every year. And, every single one of those movies is great, unlike DC, Fox, or Sony. Number 3, they have better casting choices and better actors overall. Not to say that, Deadpool was the worst casting choice ever in X-Men Origins Wolverine, because it wasn't the worst that we could have got. I mean, come on. They were actually considering Mel Gibson for Wolverine at one point. Mel Gibson. Just let that sink in. Anyway, my point is that Marvel know how to cast a good character. The Hulk has been cast 3 times, and every time it's just getting better and better. Now, who's not to say that if the Hulk does get replaced, which I'm not likely seeing in the future, that he'll be played even better. Basically, Marvel know how to cast, and Sony sort of do, but not really. And Fox are getting there, and, DC also almost there. Of course, a shock was sent around the world when DC announced Ben Affleck, but I still have hope. Gal Gadot, Jason Momoa, Ezra Miller, Sam Fisher. What is this? And then, of course, everyone got scared when the Fantastic Four casting came out from Fox about Kate Mara, Miles Teller, the other guy, Michael B. Jordan, actor, and Jamie Bell, which is the fucking strangest. They got a bit worried about that, and Sony, they have fairly good casting, but it's not as good as Marvel's, that's what I'm saying. I mean, they're trying to get Logan Lerman as Peter Parker. I don't really see that being a good idea. They did have Andrew Garfield, he turned out to be great. They did have Emma Stone, she turned out to be great, I knew she would. They did have Rhys Ifans and Jamie Foxx, and they turned out to be pretty great, apart from, from some exceptions, like, Paul Giamatti's character. I'm not saying he's a bad actor, his just character was too bad in general. But this is not a Spider-Man video, this is a Marvel video. Number 4. Marvel just make better movies. Not to say that Man of Steel was the worst movie I've seen from DC, but it was not the best. I give it some mixed reviews. If I had to give it a rating, I'd give it 54%. Not 50, 54. Because I think it is good, but it does have some elements where it could improve. I have very mixed reviews about this film. And Fox's films, like the last 2, I love the Fantastic Four, and the last 2 films were a complete disappointment. If you don't include that one from like the 1970s, this was atrocious. But we don't talk about that. We talk about how they're improving on their X-Men films. You know, X-Men 1 was great, 2 was getting better, 3 destroyed everyone. Then they released First Class, it was like, meh, and then it just generally got better over time, and now we are set up for Apocalypse, which looks to be great. Sony's movies, on the other hand, well, The Amazing Spider-Man 1, I did give it some mixed reviews, but I did like it, so I gave it a bit higher than Man of Steel. I'd say it's about 70%. And then The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is my favourite film for about 2 weeks, and then I realised it was terrible. And now I give it about a 50%. And yeah, their films aren't doing too well, especially with Sinister 6 being cancelled. Maybe, don't know, because they should have started filming by now if they is not cancelled. Like, come on, guys, and they don't even know what they're doing with their company. And number 5, finally, to round it all out, Marvel are ahead of the group by so far. They released the Avengers in 2012 and started in 2009. DC just started making the Justice League in 2013. By the time the Justice League actually is released in 2017, Avengers Infinity War started filming. That's the 3rd film. Fox, on the other hand, really have already sort of sorted their Avengers out with the X-Men, but they sort of told us a different story to Days of Future Past. It was going to be that we were going to recruit all the X-Men, but he only recruited like 3, and then, yeah, what the fuck. And then Sony were going to do their Sinister 6, but, you know, it never got around to it because, you know, they're the worst, and yeah, that happens. So, yeah. Not to say that Fox isn't doing well with their films, neither DC and, you know, Sony is, so I can't say anything about that. I don't like the way that Sony's movies are laid out. I'm not a big fan of how X-Men's timeline goes. I wasn't the biggest fan of Man of Steel because of its dark, gritty tone and some of the casting. But I do like Marvel because anything they throw us is amazing. That's why they're winning. The film strategy is amazing. 2 every year and 3 coming in 2017. That seems pretty cool, and they're on their road to a beautiful universe. Phase 4 will be coming out soon, very soon. So this is always fun to hear. While DC and Fox, on the other hand, aren't really going anywhere unless they start making it go somewhere and don't rush it, because otherwise it will be bad. So Zack Snyder, don't make this bad for all of us. Joss Whedon did it for the Avengers, so don't you do it to the Justice League. Just don't. So, anyway, that's my video, guys. Thanks you for watching. I sort of was a bit dickier than normal because I like being dickier than normal sometimes. That's just my thing, you know. You don't like it, then be a dicky about it and to me in the comments, you know. I am joking. You can't be dicky. That's like against the rules on this channel. You have to be nice, otherwise you die. Okay? So thank you for watching, guys. My name is the Comedy Pancake. I'm going to start shortening my videos, and until next time, I will see you later. Bye-bye.